Yes. Yes. I made it. I made it. Hey, everybody. How is everything today? Hope all is well. So it's 2 hours UTC, which, at least at the moment, can only mean one thing, and that is it's time to gather around the circle for Astronomy Daily Live. Happens every single day, 2 hours UTC. Just a gathering of friends talking about astronomy for an hour or so. Getting away from the TV, getting away from the news, and excuse me, um, sitting around just thinking about things that we are passionate about. And I, for one, am definitely pretty passionate when it comes to astronomical things. Um, just saw on Twitter um, a Twitter that goes by the name Peach Astro. So at Peach Astro is just reporting on a bright storm that has been recently observed on Jupiter. Um, he's got a couple of pictures. There's a left image and a right image, which at least according to the little description, is one Jovian rotation apart in time. So that's about 10, 10 or 11 Earth hours or so apart. One time that Jupiter spins around. And yeah, there is a little bright thing there. Apparently, it wasn't their previous day. I guess that would be Earth Day, but not there the previous day, and have now seen it on at least um, two rotations of the planet. Um, so yeah, that's it's nice to see things change up there from time to time. Jupiter is constantly changing. If you're able to find Peach Astro's tweet on that, there's a picture, and if you look at the picture, which, as I said, is just one Jupiter rotation in time apart. It's about 11 hours or so apart. If you look at the cloud formations, almost nothing is recognizable between them. There's a general similarity, but you know, uh, if you just peel back the surface, then it gets really complicated really fast. So pretty awesome stuff. It's nice to see. It's nice to see some new things going on there. Don't know why. If it persists, maybe Juno can get a closer look at it. That depends on a lot of things. Anyway, I'm gonna pop up my chat. I uh, I lost all the charge on my smartphone for the first time, so uh, I'm not going to be able to watch this live. But what I am going to do is I'm going to pop pop over to the chat. Uh, Pop over to the chat, see what's going on over there. Looks like I have gone live. Good, good. I can. All right, I'm here. I'm going to pop the chat out. Look and see what the cat is doing. OMC Triple X in the house. Uncle Bill, thanks for stopping by again. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. Howdy to everybody in the future who is watching this. And there are a few. There are definitely a few. So that's really cool to see. I know things, they're going to start out really small, and maybe unimportant, maybe a little boring and dull, but I'm going to hang in there, and so should you, because this is the beginning of interesting adventure that I don't know where or how it's going to end up. So, yeah, just hang in there. I have no plans except to be here every single day at the same time, pretty much the same place. So spread the word. If you've just come across this channel now, this is a daily live stream where we sit around for a while in a casual way and talk about all things astronomy for an hour or so. Could go longer. I think an hour, you can pretty much count on an hour or so. It's pretty easy to fill up an hour with Astro Talk, especially if it's around friends. So, yeah. Cheers. Cheers tonight. This is the usual. This is hydrogen hydroxide tonight. It's very, very calming and yeah, just it does wonders, absolute wonders. So, cheers. Hope everyone is doing good tonight. You've stumbled again onto this daily live show, and we're all about astronomy here, but every facet of astronomy is permitted. So if you're new and don't know much about uh, this kind of thing, and but want to find out more, pop on into the chat uh, or if you want, you can be a panelist as well, and that even adds a another interesting dimension to the conversations, because it's even sort of more um, uh, immediate. Yeah. Mysterious optical phenomena that appeared on Smart Everyday's eclipse images. Oh, I don't know if I saw that, Uncle Bill. I can. Where on the WSH Slack did you share it? So I've been out for a few hours here. So if you just did it a little while ago, then I wouldn't have seen it yet. But I'm going over there now to see if what you're talking about is there. Do you know which channel you posted that in? Don't see any reference to a channel. Mysterious optical phenomenon. You're talking about the one that says, "What is this line?" Is that the one you're talking about? There's some guesses. So is that the one you're talking about? I'll go over to the chat here. Watering hole one. Yeah, so it's, yeah, that one. Okay, cool. I'll have to take a look at it. I saw this. I did see this, and but not exactly like this. I just saw the picture. Well, I guess I saw everything there except the square box. I saw the arrow. I think it was a different arrow pointing more to the edge of the shadow, and so I thought that that was sort of what the question was. It's like, what is this line called? It's, and I honestly, I don't know if I don't I assume that it does have some kind of a name, but it's the edge of the Earth. But does that have like a technical name? Anyway, that's how I sort of interpreted that from at least the graphic that I saw, which doesn't look exactly like this. This is kind of a weird shot too, because isn't that a rocket? Yeah, that's just kind of weird. Um, but yeah, I see the line, so I will watch the whole video after the live stream here, and I will definitely respond. I'm I've I've got a substantial amount of experience with uh, image processing, and so I've developed a pretty good eye for things. So yeah, maybe I'm being a little too confident, but there's yeah, I mean it's uh, it's got to be. I mean, if that's the only kind of piece of information that he has is just this picture, then mm, yeah. So there's a line there. There's a lot of things that we just don't know. So, but maybe he goes into some of those details in the video. So I will watch the video and definitely respond one way or another on that thread. And maybe I'll respond here too if you remind me. But yeah, I'll watch the video first, and then I'll have to think about it probably. Yeah. So I continue to do the word um, analysis, and I think yesterday's live stream, I think I said the word astronomy 28 times. So uh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for an hour's show. I said it 28 times. So yeah, I think you know I'm not gonna keep score or anything during these live streams because this is a casual thing. So not I'm not worrying about necessarily saying a word a particular number of times. That would be too hard. That would be too hard. And this is supposed to be fun. So um, got to keep it fun. But yeah, I think I said the word astronomy 28 times. And the days prior to that, I was saying the word astronomy like 11 or 12 times. So something something was different. Um, Now, of course, I'm relying on the YouTube translator, so I can't. Uh, that is not entirely reliable, because I go through the list of words that it apparently found, and some of those I look at them and it's like I didn't say that. I just didn't say that. So I know that it's wrong, um, but it's interesting anyway. I will keep track. Yeah. Yeah, Uncle Bill, it could be a sensor artifact. It could be. Could be. That's one of the thoughts that popped into my head was that mm, yeah, I'm gonna have to look at it. I'm gonna have to look at it closely at as high res as I possibly can, and then make some kind of determination. Yeah. Got to look at colors. You got to look at the shape. Uh, you got to see if there are other examples. Yeah. See if you can repeat the that elsewhere under similar circumstances. I don't know what the parameters are yet. It's you know one of the cool things about science, right, is that you can turn anything into science. So the analysis of this, I'm gonna that's the first thing I do is that I pull out you know the meat grinder and run it through and see what's there. So yeah, that's the first part. And then, once you sort of understand all the pieces, then you can start, to think about, okay, since it's like this, then it could be this, it could be that, it could be that, it could be this. Don't know. So yeah, glad you could all come by, watch watch this happening. It's still really really early on in the game, so I am still new to this kind of a format, but I'm feeling inspired to do it, and it doesn't feel like a burden at all. It's something that I'm looking forward to. I don't see that enthusiasm changing or diminishing much. Um, it's as time goes by, it's going to become more and more of part of the routine. There's still some novelty to it, and I think there's going to be some novelty to it for quite a while. So I'm on a learning curve, and definitely trying to find ways of improving the presentation and being as interesting as I possibly can. Let's have a nice conversation, and let's go as deep as you want. And if that means I'm floating on top and peering down occasionally, that's fine. But if you want to dive deep, we can do that too. So I'm sort of up for anything, and yeah, I think I'm gonna treat this a lot like I would treat uh, my music, and that is I'm always trying to get better. And I think if I'm doing that, then at least my first derivatives are positive, and second derivatives may actually even have some value also. So uh, that would if I'm in a position where uh, you can sort of see that my second derivatives may be constant, then I think I'm doing pretty good, because that means that I'm getting better at being better as well. So yeah, sort of where I'm heading with all of that. Let me get back onto the chat here after ranting for a while. Star Wars or Star Trek? Huh. Well, I think honestly, my and yeah, this is sort of a cop out, but I think the universe is big enough for both, because I really 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 like at least the universes that they portray. um, I have a huge appreciation for both. So and yeah, I think there's room for both. I think yeah. Beyond that, it's really really hard because Star Wars um, only have the feature length movies, while Star Trek has both the feature length movies and the individual um, episodes, of which there are many, different kinds. Right? You've got well, at least wow, like 6 or 7 different kinds of Star Treks, right? There's the original, there's the Next Generation, blah 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 blah. All those, all the different ones. Um, so trying to say things like, um, ouch, ouch, ouch. Uh, yeah, it's a cop out. It, it is, but uh, I really like them both. I I definitely think that Star Wars probably uh, sunk down to its worst, and a lot worse than Star Trek with 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 were very disappointing. Um, I don't think I ever got through 3. So if I get tired of what I'm watching, I'll just stop watching it. So that's uh, my my brain just operates that way. If I'm not sort of if I'm not maximizing its capacity, then I just get bored. So yeah, I think I got bored with the third one, forced my way through 1 and 2. So pretty disappointing. Um, if that's all that's Star Wars was just 1, 2, and 3, then I wouldn't be having this lengthy um, conversation. So, but because of 4, 5, and 6, for sure. Uh, 7, 7, 7 is an interesting continuation of 4, 5, and 6. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I've got playful kitty down here. Um, haven't seen 8 yet. Haven't seen 8. Haven't intentionally. I try very, very, very hard to not hear anything about movies or anything that I might want to see or read or hear or anything else. I don't want to know anything about it until I experience it. And then, if I want to, then I will seek the advice of others and, uh, hear about different perspectives and all of that. But so I haven't seen 8 yet. I've seen 7. We went to the theater to see 7, and I think when it came out, I bought it right away on DVD. So I've had it for quite a while, and watched it maybe 3 times, 2 or 3 times since it came out. So pretty good, pretty good. Um, as I said, I haven't really heard anything about 8 intentionally. Haven't watched any of the trailers. Did I watch a trailer? I might have watched a trailer, but I don't remember it. So yeah, if 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 it was comparing Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 to Star Trek, then Star Trek would win. Easy, easy, easy. But because of 4, 5, and 6, Star Wars, um, that that allows it to have room uh, with Star Trek for sure. And 7, yeah, 7 helped a lot with that too. But it's pretty hard because uh, it's the choice between two fabulous universes, and which are different than ours. So yeah, it's a tasty uh, buffet, sure. So yeah, it's a cop out, but that's you know I I try to identify things that I like, and if I like uh, 2 things that may not possibly be able to actually exist, I've got to say, it's like, well, they don't. So since they don't, you can fit them into whatever space you want. And yeah, so I think there's enough room for all of them. Never got into Babylon 5. I had friends who were rabid B5ers. In fact, one friend uh, uh, did a lot of the photography, all the photographs in in a lot of the personal rooms. A lot of the photography up on the wall was his. So just astronomical things. He was a very very good astrophotographer. Took my picture of Hayakutake up here on the wall. Someday I'll show you that picture, but it's up there and it's hard to get down, so it's not going to happen um, anytime soon. But yeah, all right. Well, what else? What else is going on in the astronomical world? What I've been doing recently is going on to Twitter and just searching for the word astronomy. And I've been sort of doing that prior to coming on here live, just to sort of see what the chit chat is about astronomy. And I'm actually finding some interesting astronomical people that way. So people who ow ow ow, got a playful kitty down here with very sharp claws and teeth. But people, who tweet astronomical things are the kind of people that I'm interested in getting a hold of and getting in contact with, um, not only to promote this live stream show, but to also just connect. I'm really interested in collaboration, especially this remote stuff. Um, Remote work works really really well, but you have to have the cooperation of everyone involved. And I don't, even in this age of this, this live stuff where I can be, literally, practically out in the middle of nowhere, and in one of the darkest places in North America, and well, at least in the United States, one of the darkest areas. I'm in southeastern Arizona, so I'm 7 hours behind UTC. I'm always on Mountain Standard Time. We don't do the daylight savings thing here, which uh, makes it a very intelligent state. So I thoroughly approve of that. Uh, yeah, when I moved here, that was a special bonus, extra bonus that was like, yeah, okay, I'm in the right place. So always 7 hours behind UTC. So yeah, so it's this kind of um, technology can be used for work, um, collaborative efforts. So yeah, I get onto the Twitter space and just search for the word astronomy wherever it pops up, and sometimes there's some interesting things going on. Um, at least if nothing else, I always get back to the pictures and the plots and the graphs, and interesting representations of data is really is it's most of it's very 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 beautiful, and just sort of a joy to look at, even if you just, I mean, you have no idea what it is at all, um, but the colors and the um, you know they're everything has some kind of a pattern or a structure, and it's just very very cool. It's very very cool, and I think a lot of astronomers have this appreciation, um, maybe at different levels, but fundamentally, this is a very very nice form of artwork. They're one and the same. So I'm just looking at the Twitter space here, seeing if there's anything necessarily interesting tweeting around. Not seeing much of anything. Let me cover something. Um, since I've sort of got this podium here, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go to infinity. And then I'm going to go over here, and we're going to go to a site called, I believe it's called spaceweather.com. Spaceweather.com, is that it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is it. Have you? I wonder if you've ever gotten onto this site before. This is a pretty neat, interesting site. As the name implies, it's sort of talking about weather in space. Don't know if you've ever thought about that before. Maybe you have. Okay, looks like the stream is still going. I'm just checking on that a little bit. Anyway, so this is an awesome site. Lots of interesting info, in sort of a numerical form up here. And then if you want to see more, you can just, click on the links and you can get plots and graphs and everything else. There's always a couple of, sort of like news stories here. So that's very, very awesome. You come down here and they always have, some kind of neat thing that's somebody's doing. Come down here and you get atmospheric effects with optics, and some of them are very, very cool. Para Paraselenic circles. When the moon is full and it's really cold outside, strange things can happen in the sky. Consider the following. January 31st was a very chilly night out, -24 Celsius, and with a wind chill of about -34 Celsius. Stepping outside to look at the moon, I saw something I've never seen before. One halo circling the moon and the other one cutting right through it. So yeah, interesting. Double halo. Very cool. But the thing that I have a gripe with is this down here. It's All Sky Fireball Network. So what they've done is they're a network of all sky cameras have been set up in different places around the country, maybe around the world. Um, yeah, Cow Sky. Yes, yes, yes. Anyway, so these meteors are observed, these fireballs, as they call them, and they are recorded. And when an event occurs, um, they're able, if they can see it on more than one all sky camera that is separated by a distance, they can do the basic parallax thing, and they can come up with a trajectory. They can estimate the trajectory, and they can extend that outward to find an orbit, and that's sort of what you're seeing here. Now, this is updated all the time, so this is showing uh, some pretty some pretty big orbits. The blue ones there, pretty big orbits. Parabolic maybe, I don't know. Kind of hard to tell. The green one down there is an elliptical orbit. The yellow thing in the center, of course, is the sun. Blah 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 blah, and they all intersect right at that blue dot right there, which is the Earth. And of course, they intersect because they were detected doing the intersection. The problem the the really, really big problem with this plot is that it's not representing the errors in the measurements of the trajectories. Um, they're they're just uh, and I guess it's a subtlety, but it's it's really misrepresenting the the data that they have. And I understand. I understand that this is probably just supposed to give people an idea. But I'm afraid that this information is being used in research. And if it is, if these trajectories are being used in research without taking into account the errors in measuring the trajectory, they have just a little, they have a very, 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 very tiny portion of the full orbit of these meteors. They have, they can see them. They're, I think, maybe a couple of kilometers long, and that's it. That's all they've got out of millions and millions and millions of kilometer long orbit. So the errors are large. They do not they do not know the orbits with this kind of precision. They don't. And I suspect that if you were to include, whoops, sorry about that. If you were to include the error bars with these paths, then everything would pretty much overlap or pretty close, pretty close. Those, these skinny little lines would be very, very fat lines that would overlap in areas. Yeah. So I just sort of see this as a misrepresentation. I hope that they are not using these trajectories in any kind of research, because and not including the error bars. If they're including the error bars, okay, good. But I guess I haven't dug that deep into it. That's about as far as I've gotten. Is that, um, and I think on this, no, I thought maybe they showed an example, larger image. No, that's just the same thing. I thought they showed an example of one, but all sky cameras. Yeah, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna dive too deep into this. This is the all sky camera network that they use, funded by NASA, which is very cool. This is the kind of shit that NASA should be funding, because this is not only very cool, but it's really important to get a handle on this stuff, because these are small, but one of those rocks out there have got our name on it. Multiple rocks have our name on it, and if we don't want any trouble, we're going to have to do something about it before there's any trouble. All right, I think I'm going to be back. Yeah. 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 That's just, you know, I I don't I I try not to judge, right? Try not to judge, but when there is misrepresentation, gotta call them out. Definitely have to call them out, because it's not it's bad enough. Okay, it's bad enough how screwed up science news the media does, right? I mean, I hear every, and I think I can say this with certainty. Every single um, media news story that I've ever heard about astronomy, there's something there's something in the story that's wrong, or not not understood correctly. So, and you know, from that, what I do is I extrapolate that out and say, okay, well, if they're this bad with astronomy, then the only thing that I can do is assume, just extrapolating, right? Extrapolating that they're as bad with everything else, and that's that's uh, that's that's when I stopped listening because, yeah, I mean, something was always either wrong or really, really wrong with any kind of astronomical news. Even the simplest stuff, they got something wrong, something. And so it's like, oh man, what else are you getting wrong? Right? Okay, well, click, it's off. Now I have a kitty who wants in, so I'm going to go let him in. Take a few second break here. So I will be right back. He is howling at the door, wants in, wants to probably jump up in my lap here. So I'll be right back. So I wanted to show you my CCD camera. Let me close the case here. Hold on. So I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see it. But there it is. This is an S-Big ST7. I don't know if you can see that. It says ST7. ST7ME. This one has a filter wheel on it as well, so you can put filters in here and control the filter wheel. So that makes it really, really nice. I'll take the cap off here. I've got a filter on it, so you can see the array there. You see the array back there, little green square. Yeah, so that's the array. Off the top of my head, I don't remember how big it is. It's not huge. It's this is pretty old tech. Uses a parallel port. Parallel port. So the thing that I like about this particular camera is that it's a rock. It's awesome. It's really, really awesome. It's really quiet. It's really flat, and it's 16-bit, so good dynamic range. Really, really good dynamic range. So uh, it 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 will perform to the precision that I want. So it's absolutely fantastic. As I said, it's nice and quiet. Um, the filter wheel is kind of a bonus. Um, it's it 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 allows me to do more science. So hey, I'm all for it. Anyway, it's pretty heavy. I would say it weighs about, I want to say like 6 or 7 pounds, maybe 6 pounds. It's thermoelectrically cooled, so it just has like a little refrigerator inside that cools the chip down, and it could go down to um, uh, it can do quite a number of degrees below ambient. Um, you really want to get your chip as cold as possible, because that reduces all the noise. Um, when everything is warm, there there are thermal electrons that can uh, cause a signal, to come out of the camera, where there isn't any signal coming in from the telescope or the star or the planet or whatever you're observing. Um, so it's just extra noise. So if you cool it down, then you get rid of all the thermal electrons, and you have less noise. So the only real problem that I have here, and it's not a big deal because I'm out in the desert, so it even in the heat of the summer, where it's breaking 100 Fahrenheit, it'll get into the 50s, maybe even the 40s at night. So you know to 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 get this thing to work a little extra hard and get me down, to -10, -15 Celsius, um, is making it work pretty hard. But yeah, it's worth it. And anyway, this is a tough camera. Um, it is definitely not modern by any means, but it's a great workhorse, and it'll last me forever. And if and when I upgrade, I'm definitely going to hold on to this, or I'll find somebody who really, really, really needs it. Really, really, really needs it. Just like I did. Pass it on, and I'll give it to them. But yeah, for now, there it is. So I run this on it's a Windows XP machine, an old Windows XP machine, um, and I'm just running CCD soft, which comes with the camera. It was also developed by SBIG. SBIG is the Santa Barbara Instrument Group. SBIG, Santa Barbara Instrument Group. Awesome, awesome guys. I've worked with them for uh, quite a while, and their sort of inclusion with their software end of things, which is software BISC. Um, and yeah, I think that's actually who wrote CCD Soft. They also write the Sky, which is a telescope control system. You can run your observatory with that. Uh, yeah, I've used the Sky a lot, and it's awesome. Shout outs, big shout outs to those guys. They're doing some awesome work. Um, they're the ones that also sell the Paramount mount, um, which if you can fork over the bucks, yeah, it is the mount to have. It's sub-arc second pointing. Uh, Tracking is you got to work at it, but you can get it sub-pixel tracking, and yeah, it's just awesome stuff. It's great when you get to play with the big toys, because you get to see all the cool stuff. Anyway, so that's my CCD camera. Oh, I guess it's got the filter has a label too. So show you that. Okay, good. And I dug this out because Dr. Pamela Gay had her show today where she was setting up her camera. They they somehow got a hold of a telescope and a CCD camera, and they are in the process of assembling the telescope and getting the CCD camera up and running and actually collecting data and all of that. And so I was just watching that today for a little while. It was good times. You can watch. It's very very enlightening to watch the pros, so-called pros, the pros stumble and suffer greatly. Uh, yeah, that's it's a new interesting era where yeah, you get to see that sorry folks, we're pretty much about as dumb humans as everybody else. So nothing special here. We just we're trying to be the wizard, and that means we've got to do all the smoke and mirrors and do everything behind the curtain and fling the curtain open when you're all ready to go. Uh, so yeah, it's an interesting concept of watching people struggle through things. So, interesting, interesting idea. Uh, da, da, da. So, what else is going on? Anything too exciting? Hopefully, I'm hoping you're spreading the word as much as you can. If you're watching this, you dropped in, uh, make sure to hit that subscribe for sure. Go ahead and punch out on the like as well. I think that is supposed to help. And yeah, I think once you subscribe, you can set your notifications to be alarmed to the fact that this is going on. But yeah, this is happening every single day at 2 hours UTC. You're going to have to figure out when that is for your location. Um, but yeah, that's a you know, in order to get into astronomy, you've got to uh, get into thinking about time and how it's measured and what it's for and how it's used. So that's a good, if you're new to astronomy, that's a good first exercise. It's sort of uh, a means of entry into the astronomical world. If you start to develop a, a sense of time, um, then you have begun your journey into a very 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 large space. So yeah, once time is sort of mm, understood a little bit. No, I've got a wild kitty in here now. I'm gonna try to get her out because we got a few more minutes alive, but I'm gonna try to get her out. 1 minute. Okay, so this camera comes with everything. As I said, it came with the software, CCD soft, and it comes with this big long parallel cable, big long one. As you can see, parallel and parallel. So parallel cable. So the only thing, right? The only real gripe that I have, and it's not a gripe, because it sort of matches my whole approach, and that is just relax and chill and have fun. So, but the only gripe really that I have with this camera is that it takes a very 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 long time to uh, transfer one image from the camera to the computer. It takes a very, very long time, and that's because of this parallel thing. It goes well, 10 bits at a time, 10 bits at a time, you know, and so that just takes a long time. So I usually uh, I usually have my images binned, so they're binned by a factor of 2. So they're a factor of 4 smaller in area. So uh, an image that has been binned by 2 by a factor of 2 uh, uploads to your computer uh, 4 times faster. So, all right, you get out of there. So it's also got a power supply, and I think that's about it. That's all it needs. Anyway, it works really, really great, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I've got uh, I've got a lot of work for it if I can find the time. Well, what else interesting is going on in the astronomical world? There's always interesting things. Always interesting. Yeah, I did go back to that. Didn't I go back to that? Yeah, I did. Okay. You're seeing my ugly mug. Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. All right, I've got a kitty in front of the screen, so I cannot see it. I'm just looking at all the astronomy tweets here, see if there's anything catches my eye in terms of interesting topics. Not really seeing much of anything there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here. Bear with me a little bit here, please. And I can do this. So I'm still thinking that this is as good a time as any to get together every single day, 2 hours UTC. I've had some contacts with some European folks who are sort of saying, well, it's a bummer that it's on in the middle of the night. So sorry, but at the same time, people who have said that they were going to come on haven't yet. So, this has got to catch on, and I think uh, being very patient and being very persistent, and just as I said at the beginning, trying to continuously improve the quality um, is and keep it fun and keep it light, because if this begins to turn into work, then I'm just not going to be uh, inspired to do it at all. And so yeah, it certainly does not feel like work most of the time. My evenings are pretty light and easygoing, just like to relax. And I think this is a great way to relax, is to you know think about astronomy for an hour, in sort of an intense way in a certain sense, but still really casual, really fun. Just keep it light. If we want to dive deep, sure, let's do it. But definitely, need to come up for air. Um, so yeah, don't get so deep that you're not able, to come up and take a breath from time to time. Uh, Pretty good episode of Hearts of Space this week. It's a little disappointed, just a little bit. It had a good sound, you know, guitars, um, uh, electric ones are, do have a good sound if they're played well. So, uh, yeah, it was a pretty good episode. Definitely not one of the one of the best ones. No, not really. It's pretty average, I guess. So, yeah, always disappointed with average. So, um, just went into the big city today to grab my artwork that has been on display for the past 3 days. Um, got a honorable mention for one of them, and another one. I had two purchases, so that kind of response. Um, as I say, what I'm looking for is the absolute value of the response, and not whether it's a negative or a positive response. I'm looking for the strongest response that I can get. I think that's what's a strong motivation for at least my artwork, is that I want to provoke a strong response. Um, so if it's a strong negative response, that to me is as I'm as successful with a strong negative response as I am with a strong positive response. So I think as I say, I'm looking for the absolute value there. So which is an interesting term, right? Absolute value in terms of how much is it worth to you. So yeah, as opposed to a value being a number. So there's some interesting linguistic gymnastics going on with that term and how I'm using it. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Got a kitty in the background. Kitty in the background looking for trouble. Look at that. Hey. All right. So yeah, just got back from that just a couple of minutes before I went live here. So yeah, but I'm really inspired by what I saw. I was able to get through the exhibit and see everybody else's work, and yeah, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. There were a couple that were just sort of like, really, really, but for most of it, yeah, and my stuff fit in pretty well there. I think it was unique. Um, uh, so, but yeah, I think it fit in there really, really well, and that has definitely inspired me to want to continue along that path. So see what else I can come up with. I'm getting pretty tired of what I've been doing for a little while, so I'm trying to think of something else, and that's going to require different kinds of data. So I'm looking around, seeing what other kinds of data are available and how I can uh, uh, shape it into some kind of artwork. So don't know where that's going yet. Um, Definitely would like to do more video. The one thing that I noticed about my video, and honestly, I didn't think about it at all. I was thinking make a video of the artwork, and I wasn't thinking of audio, and I wasn't thinking of any kind of title or description in the video itself. So it's even more abstract because there's 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 absolutely no identification and there's no explanation and there's no sound. So it's just it's a and there's a little bit of color, but it's mostly black and white. So it's very abstract and it's silent. so so yeah, I think next year. I mean, I really like that, but I don't. I mean, I want people to appreciate it for the fact that it's data and not something just kind of weird. So I think with at least a title and maybe like brief explanations, um, and then yeah, some audio. So I can take all of this visual art, and I can take the same data and I can turn it into audio as well. So yeah, I didn't even think about audio or any kind of explanations. so so yeah, that's really bad. So it just sort of ran and that's it. So so yeah, but that was a lot of fun. I was very inspired, and I will definitely think about doing more for next year. It's going to have to be completely different though, completely different. So I don't know what that is yet, but that's the creative task, right? Is to make something new, make something that no one's ever seen before or heard before or experienced. That's creation. So yeah, I have no problem with that. I can do that. Um, just going to take a little bit of time. So yeah, that'll be fun. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to exit for this evening. Really glad that you have stopped by, either in the present time or in the future, for sure. If you haven't already, subscribe. You can hit that notification thing too, and I think that's supposed to send you an email or some kind of a message saying that I've gone live. But I don't see anything that would pull me away at this point. So yeah, purposely keep a pretty simple life. So I'm always, almost always here at this time. So it's very easy for me to do this, and it actually it's just enough of like an adrenaline rush to keep me up for another hour and a half, and that ain't bad. That ain't bad. I have no problem with that. Staying up a little later than what I normally would. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. All right. Well, I think I'm going to exit. Let me check the chat one more time. Glad you could stop in. Uncle Bill, you were just doing the ninja thing anyway. So any kind of distractions for for you would be like an impossibility for the rest of us. So yeah, a little bit of a distraction. No worries, no worries. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna knock off for this evening. That's the cool thing about having a daily show is that there's no pressure to, try to pack things in or everything else because so far, there has uh, there's always been a tomorrow so far. So pretty good odds, pretty good odds that there will be another one tomorrow, which means I will be right here, right now, talking astronomy for an hour, whatever. I'll give you an hour. I will take an hour, uh, at least. If it goes over a little bit, not going to sweat it. Depends on the company, depends on the conversation, depends on the topics. Um, I can do this a lot more, a lot more. So already getting a few ideas in terms of that. So yeah, going to be cool. Just planting a seed, making sure that it's watered. Definitely, maybe seeing some signs of sprouting. Maybe we'll see. You gotta let these processes unfold. You just have to allow the unfolding to take place, and then just get out of the way and um, help it along, and that's it. But otherwise, just leave it alone, let it do its thing, and it will. It will. So that's what I'm doing. And for now, I'm gonna exit this planet, get back up. Plus, I'm man, I am completely out of fuel. Look at that. Totally. Whoop. Had a little tiny bit left. Now I'm totally out of fuel. So with that, I'm gonna exit. I'm gonna shoot back up, and I will see you tomorrow night. All right. Peace and out.